Hey guys, welcome back. It is Four Towers Films, joined by
Doug, 218. Yeah.
welcome back.
What's
what
up?
what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Big Brother Canada, Season 7, Episode 24.
She's a coming to the end.
We are, I guess, a little over a week now left of the show. And
Mm-hmm.
Arissa said on tonight's show that next Sunday is the Big Brother Canada Awards ceremony. So vote now.
Yay!
Vote now if you are in Canada for your favorite moments and house guests and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like the American one where they
Look back
do
on
the
the favorite.
memories, they look back over the season, only this one they get awards for it kind of thing. So it's a little bit different in that respect, but that's next Sunday. So if you guys like that episode, it's next week. It's fun. It's a fun episode. As in, well, it's kind of like just something where they can just enjoy. They get a meal, that kind of thing. So
Filler.
yeah, I know you don't like it. I don't mind it. I like looking back over the season. So tell us what you guys think.
Well, all it's going to be is the Pretty Boy's greatest hits.
Well, maybe not. I hope it's not all going to be Pretty Boy this all the time. But no, there'll be other stuff. Because, yes, it will. Not all Pretty Boy all the time. No.
Casey Kasem brings the Pretty Boy's greatest hits.
Anyway. So we start off with the usual recap. And them talking about how, well, especially the Pretty Boys, how basically they're about to make history as being pretty much one of, well, really, they're not the only alliance to make it to the end, but maybe in Canada. But
I think so.
I think so, because, a few other alliances have kind of made it to the end before, at least in the US one. So they're like going on about they're about to make history and that they're going to be, the Pretty Boys were intact and that they got to the end, and they only have to get through Kira to get to the end, and that should be easy. It should be easy to beat Kira.
And along came a little binary girl named Kira. And she kicked.
Well, then the HOH happened. And basically they were separated by booths.
Mm-hmm.
And it was they had to tell, like, answer questions, like, with different printed little not blocks, but like placards kind of thing.
With the answers on
With
it.
the answers on it. And the questions were like either, for example,
What day did this
happen, or what was the title of POV competition, or who won this, that kind of thing. And so they had, and only the first three who buzzed in got to answer. So Anthony only buzzed in maybe twice, maybe 3 times the whole time. And it was usually down to Mark, Adam, and Kira. So Kira basically took an early lead and maintained it throughout the whole thing. And at one point, it was one, Dana, the question was, give me the name of the POV comp. And Kira's the only one who did that. And, like,
Mark said
after, and
Adam said day
36. So, and Dane's like, what are you doing? I asked for the name of the POV comp, and you're giving me all 3 different names. Kira's the only one who actually gave me the name of the comp.
And he's like, this was supposed to be so easy.
Well, that's what they thought. That's why they got rid of Damien and kept Kira, because they figured it'd be easier to beat her in the Final Four than to beat Damien, and because she hadn't really won it. Well, she's won nothing. I mean, even the blood veto was voted into her. So anyway, Kira won HOH. First thing she's won, and of course she's happy, and the other boys they're happy, like they show their happiness, but they're not too happy about this.
They look like 4 kicked dogs, okay?
Well, they congratulated, and they hugged her and all that kind of stuff. But not quite that bad. But no, it wasn't. You'll see if you haven't seen it yet. And because Adam even hugged her a couple times. Anthony did. She's kind of the closest to them. Even Dane hugged her. So, I mean, no, they're not happy because it means the end of the Pretty Boys as an intact bunch, which is good for the rest of us because enough of the Pretty Boys already. So obviously the negotiating begins, and Adam talks to her because he's kind of, you think that they've kind of been the closest, really, out of the rest, the ones who've been left in the game. And she's like, oh yeah, I got your back. You're not going to touch the block, all that. But she's leaning toward putting Dane up, at least as a pawn, because it makes sense. Because he's been HOH 3 times and he's nominated 3 times, so it would make sense to put him up.
Yeah. I would.
Yeah, of course. So, they kind of agree with that. It makes sense.
He more or less volunteered to go up.
Well, he understood the reasoning.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of is like, yeah, it makes sense, right? And so she's like, but I'll think about it. And she goes, of course, the goal is Mark, to get out Mark. And it's like, all right, I guess. And
meanwhile, the brown bomber isn't even considered. That dude has got horseshoes.
So, well, it sounds like Kira also kind of feels close to Anthony. So, I don't know. I guess when I've seen the feeds, I've seen them talk, but I don't know if they were that especially close. I guess they have been, but I don't know. Okay. I mostly saw him talking with Corey or the Pretty Boys or whatever. Not as much with Kira, but I guess they did. But, anyway. So, of course, Anthony and Mark are talking, and Anthony's saying, he goes to Mark, and he's basically saying to him that you're going to have to go to her and say, you have a better chance against me to win than you do against Adam or Dane. Because they've done some shady things in the game, even against you, and all that. And, and I wouldn't win over you. And so they kind of formulated a plan of what they could tell Kira. And so Mark goes up and basically does just that. And she's like, yeah, what you're saying is true. That yes, and she's not oblivious to what Dane and Adam have done or what they have said. And the fact that they are pretty much 2 of the strongest left in the house, and that she probably could win more over Mark than either of the other 2. But she's like, but we'll think about it and we'll talk about this in a couple hours, that kind of thing. So then they get they get to see her HOH room and all that stuff, and I think it's her nieces and nephew that come up. It's really cute in her HOH video.
We love you, Aunt Kira. You're doing fantastic. Who's number 1? Kira!
It was really cute. See, in the States, they get letters. Here, they get actual video.
I think I prefer. I like the idea of the video.
I like it too because then you actually see them. Yeah. It's not just a letter that they get. They actually see them. So they get a video here. So, and she decides to take Anthony for Wendy's too. So
him and that damn spicy chicken combo, man.
Yeah. And they again, he's kind of reiterating more or less what she should do. And she basically says to them, all of them, that she'll take their advice kind of thing under advisement.
But this is my
HOH, and I'm not going to let anybody tell me how to run it. So, it's going to be her decision.
Wasn't that the politest FU to 4 men? Like, y'all can give me your 2 cents, but F all of you for thinking you're going to tell me what I'm going to do with it.
Well, I think she's been around them a while, or they've been around them a while, and I think they've seen how they can talk to people, especially Anthony. And even Adam can get kind of bullying if things don't go his way. So, and Kira has seen that. Yeah. And I think they didn't want them to think that it was them it was their HOH, because like, I mean, it's pretty obvious that lots of they're kind of bowed up, and that they kind of get that aura about them, and so I think that's what they wanted the guys to know, that yes, I want to talk to you about stuff, but it's really my decision of what I'm going to do with it. So,
Yeah.
and they wanted them to know that kind of thing. So they made it pretty clear that it's still my decision. You know, I'm going to do things that's best for my game. So, which it should be. And really, your options kind of limited at this point. You only have 4 people you can put up. So, so every time they get a letter from Big Brother saying that you've been on Slop and have the Have Not room, and now you have the chance to have the Have Not room closed for the season.
And no one be on Slop.
And nobody be on Slop the rest of the season.
But
but you have to pass this challenge. They said you've been in and out of the archive room the whole season. So you have half an hour to go in there and take everything in, and then you have 7 questions you have to answer, and you have to get at least 5 of them right. If you don't, you'll be on Slop and a Have Not for the rest of the season.
Including Kira.
So they all go in, and they're like, they divide it up into sections. So everybody, you have this section, you have this section.
And they give the shortest dude the thing on the highest shelf.
Well, the one section, he's like, I can't even reach or see the top of the highest shelf. And so they're all like looking at this and that, and like trying to memorize everything that they can in this room. So time's up, and they all come back out, and out into the living room, and they're sitting like on the bar stools from the kitchen.
That semicircle kind of thing. Pattern.
And Kira starts reading them the questions. And then, for some reason, instead of saying it out loud, they have to write it on a chalkboard. They're saying it out loud, but then they have to answer it on a chalkboard. I don't know. It didn't make much sense to me why they had to do it that way.
I think there's a piece of editing there somewhere that we missed, because it's like you said, why the hell you got this guy writing it down on a chalkboard?
Well, considering she's standing there,
right there,
and they're discussing what they think the answers are. They say the answer, and then Dane's writing it on the chalkboard to show it. So I don't really get why they had to do it that way, but that's how they had to do it. They had to write on the chalkboard. And so they got 4 of them right. And then the last couple ones were kind of like, oh, come on. You're only going to remember something. Like, there was
a lot of stuff in this room.
And then one of them was like, the green folder, what it say on it. And they're like, what green folder? and they're trying to think, and they just thought it said evidence. And it says something like, what? Like
a startup procedure for
glass furnace.
For a glass furnace. And they're like,
oh yeah, that was my next guess.
It's right on the tip of my tongue,
And then the last one was how many red binders were there. And they're like, I don't remember seeing any red binders.
And they're all like, there was none. There was none.
Well, Anthony's like, there was none. Just say 0. And so they said 0, and they said it was actually 2 red binders. So they lost. They lost. And so, everybody was so upset.
Dane
threw down the chalkboard, and he's like, I have been on Slop and have for 3 weeks, and I don't want to do it again for the rest of the season. Still about 2 weeks left. This is bull beep, and all that kind of stuff. And Adam's like slamming and pounding things, and Kira's like, I don't even get to enjoy my HOH. And
these guys are just, they've already been on Slop already, and they're miserable and mean while they're on it. And now if they're on it for the rest of the season, they're even going to be worse.
And then I'm going to have to put them up on the block, and they're already going to be upset. And that's just going to make them more upset. And they're all just going, except Adam and Mark. They're the only ones who haven't really been saying much.
Mark's like, whatever.
Well, I think they're just thinking it's part of the game. It's 2 weeks left anyway. But the other ones are all kind of having a bit of a meltdown. And so...
You know what? Okay, I can understand on Dane's point. You've already done 3
3
weeks.
weeks.
And then you got 2 more. That's 5 weeks on slop.
Yeah, it's tough. It'd be tough to do.
I'd be eating set pieces by then. Probably.
With condiments.
It'd probably be the same nutritional content in a seat cushion like there is in slop.
Well, slop's supposed to have supposed to be nutritionally like supplemented, that kind of thing. But
it looks like the same stuff they give to prisoners in the U.S.
It looks like oatmeal, but they say it doesn't taste like oatmeal. But you've seen it. It looks like oatmeal, but they say it doesn't taste like it. Doesn't taste good. Although a lot of them will make cookies, stuff like that out of it. But
if you
so they let them stew for a while in this knowledge. So then Kira comes back out of the diary room with another note.
And she's in tears.
And she's in tears. And so Dane's like, it doesn't sound, it's even worse. Kira's crying again. So she comes out and says, since you didn't take the news very well, we're going to let you know we're pranking you.
And everyone lost their business again.
So then they're all happy. And even Mark's doing cartwheels, literally doing cartwheels. And so they're all happy that it was actually a prank. Big Brother played on them. That was funny.
I never thought I'd see 4 grown people go from adults to 5-year-olds in one fell swoop. Like it was like 5 temper tantrums on the floor. I don't want to do slop anymore.
Well, 3. Anthony and Mark didn't really do a temper tantrum over the slop thing.
I can understand Kira's position. You know, she's the only girl left in a house full of raving testosterone. You know, and I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want any.
Well, it's also there are HOH, and they wanted to be able to enjoy the HOH, which means you get the nice room and you get food and all that stuff, and then to be on slop and not getting that and having to sleep in the HOH room, you know, it kind of suck.
And then turn around and go, I'm nominating you.
I mean, you know, that would kind of suck, but then it was a big prank, so now the HOH room, and there's no more Have-Nots for the season. So actually it's a bit later than normal. It's usually a little bit earlier than this, but, you know. So the HOH, or Have-Not room and Have-Nots are done for the season.
Bye.
So.
Sorry, guys, we're still a little under the weather. Well.
So. Now it goes to nominations, and Kira's getting ready, and Adam comes in, and he's more or less, I think he thinks something's up, because she hasn't really been 100% forthright in a way, even though she did tell him in the beginning that you're not touching the block. You know, things change over the course of a day or so if they can, or people tell you what you want to hear. So he's like, she's like, you know, you okay, kind of thing. It's like, I'm a bit nervous, you know, and
what you nervous about?
And like, you know, I know you got your back, I got your back, you know, you've had my back, that kind of thing, which you're nervous about. And he's like, well, you know, about
Spidey sense
going on the block. So obviously he senses something, right? And he knows that Kira's also somewhat close to Anthony, so it's not just him she's close to. So, but she's like, you know, don't worry about it. Everything's okay, good. Kind of thing, right? He goes out, finishes getting ready, and she kind of tears up again. So you kind of have an idea what might be coming. So they go downstairs with the suitcase. They're all ready.
But did you love the montage leading up to that? You know, Dane coming down the stairs, Adam pacing back and forth, Anthony kind of
Mark
like
looking like Mark.
Yeah, lost, confused. But it was like that, kind of like the last days of the Power Four.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And here at the end of the week, one will be gone.
And here comes the lady in black down the stairs
with the suitcase. talk about what they want to do. They want to make a big move, and they're saying, now, I mean, they haven't had power yet. Now it's the time to make a move, and while there really isn't a lot of pretty much any move you make now would be a fairly big move, but so they lock in their nominations. They go out, and they say that the first nominee is Dane, and he, I think he expected it anyway. So he sits down, and then they say the next nominee is Adam.
He didn't take it well.
Adam's like, sits there for a minute, he gets up and, curses, and then sits down, and he's like, I kept you off the block last week.
When these two were trying to
get you on, I did everything I could to save you and nominate me. More or less. And Kira says, I know you're loyal to me, but you're more loyal to him, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he says, I was more loyal to this from day one, to the pretty boys.
Yeah.
From day one.
Well, that's you got to think. That's a pretty ballsy move, really.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's kind of been Adam's MO though for the whole game.
Well,
really, if things don't go his way, he blows up.
And then he blew up, and he blew the whole, and he's, well, if I'm going down,
they're going down with me. Well, then Kira said, you don't think I knew that there was the four of you? I knew, everybody knew.
And he's like, nobody did.
And he goes, nobody did anything about it.
Well, guess what? Fuzzy face?
You don't really have a choice. There's no one else to nominate. But it's true. Nobody did anything about it, which we thought was asinine right from the beginning. But,
At least, by the process of elimination, she's going to do something about it.
Well, you kind of have to.
She has to.
She has no other choice at this point. But, and so then she goes through why to Dane. She goes, 3 weeks you were up, 3 weeks you put me up. You're one of the strongest players in the house, and I can't beat you. And he just nodded, he just listened. And to Adam, you're loyal to him, and I can't give you the opportunity to take him off if you won POV. So obviously Dane's her target, and she could hit it if depending on who wins POV and how the other ones vote. Very well, she could hit her target. I think Dan thought so too, because he basically, when he got up, he said, I'm done.
You got this.
So, but POV hadn't been played yet, Dan. So, right?
You know what? There's still a lot of game left. You don't know.
Well, sure. I mean, because even if, for example, let's say either Dan or Adam get off the block.
One of the others is going up.
One of the others goes up, whether it be Mark or Anthony. Probably Mark, because she's closer to Anthony. So, example, if it be Mark, well, then you pretty much could split the votes. And it comes down to her anyway, who is deciding votes. So, say it's Mark, well, Anthony's going to vote out Adam or Dane, and Adam or Dane would vote out Mark. So it would come down to which do she think is the better choice for her to get rid of? Would it be Adam or Dane, or would it be Mark or Anthony, depending on whoever was up there?
Well, and all in all, she better be willing.
I think she would keep Anthony over Dane, but I don't know about Mark over Adam. Let's say.
Well, she's made her decision, and good, bad, or indifferent, she's got to now live with that, and whatever the ramifications of the POV. And
what do you know? POV's been played. But we're not telling you, because that's what we do on Sundays. We don't let you know until Thursday's episode when we upload from Wednesday. So you'll have to wait till then, unless you already know.
Then don't tell anyone else.
Don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
You, especially over there. I see you.
Don't be telling anybody. No. So that is it for this Sunday for the HOH nomination episode. It was a good episode. Yeah. It's nice to finally see Kara win something and actually take a shot finally at the pretty boy. So one of them will finally go home. Thanks. Hopefully it's somebody everybody finds annoying.
Something. Please, dear God, give me, you have granted me this joyous gift of a pretty boy finally on the block. Amen.
Well, there's been pretty boys on the block that just never get voted out, but now they'll have to be. Yay! Hey! Finally.
And it was actually nice to see Kira with a legitimate smile on her face.
Yeah. The problem is they're going to have to win POV next week. Because she can't play in POV or HOH next week.
And she's got to know.
Of course. She'll be the target.
Oh, yeah.
Against 3 of them.
Oh. What would be funny is if she did win POV.
It's possible. It's possible. It depends on what the POV will be next week. So
hey, she came close to winning POV in the one round with Damien. Now she won an HOH. Little girl got a taste for it now.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's what you also have to think of. Like she told them, I didn't come here for 3rd place. I came here to win. So now you got to think, whoever is on the block after POV, you have to try to take out the one that you may not be able to beat in a POV competition because, you're going to have to win it kind of thing. So, because they're all going to gun for you next week. So,
who knows? Maybe little girl's been laying low and just, just biding her time. Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out this week.
Well, thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button up here somewhere. And we will see you on Thursday for Wednesday's POV episode. Take care, guys.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.